things.
Here's a question that's popular among Bitcoin circles, and people like to
Mhm.
dunk on Ethereum because of this. What kind of hardware does it take to validate Ethereum to run a node?
So today, you can absolutely do it on a consumer laptop. The the laptop that I'm using to talk to you right now, it's Dell, I think XPS 15. It's totally managed to sync and run a ret node. And actually, yeah, it managed to do an archive sync. So like, which actually means that you're not just downloading everything since Genesis, but you're actually directly verifying every single transaction since Genesis. And it managed to do that sync in 4 days. So right now, it's like very possible. I think, but this topic is interesting because I mean, I think you've probably seen, but we're looking to like there's a lot of momentum right now to also increase the scale of the L1 as well, right? And there's a lot of these interesting questions of like, well, like what is the role of things like flow nodes even going to be going forward, right? And so there's this like interesting philosophical rabbit hole that's being like I think re-explored, right? And like basically, yeah, the ultimate goal, right? I think is we want as many users as possible to be interacting with the chain in such a way that they actually are verifying the rules of the chain. And the reason why this is important is, I mean, I had this a kind of like mini story in one of my posts a couple of years ago. I think it was on like limits to scalability. Let me try to quickly find it. Uh, I can see if the story is here. There, I'll just read it out. So this is imagine like what like this story would be told in one of these like highly scalable chains where no one's running full nodes. At 2:35 a.m., you receive an emergency call from your partner on the opposite side of the world who helps run your mining pool, or it could be a staking pool. Since about 14 minutes ago, your partner tells you, your pool and a few others split off from the main chain, which still carries 79% of the network. According to your node, the majority chain's blocks are invalid. There's a balance error. The key block appeared to erroneously assign 4.5 million extra coins to an unknown address. An hour later, you're in a Telegram chat with the two other small pools who were caught blindsided just as you were, as well as some block explorers and exchanges. You finally see someone paste a link to a tweet containing a published message. Announcing new on-chain sustainable protocol development fund, the tweet begins. By the morning, arguments on Twitter and on the one community forum that was not censoring the discussions are everywhere. But by then, a significant part of the 4.5 billion coins had been converted on-chain to other assets, and billions of dollars of DeFi transactions had taken place. 79% of the consensus nodes and all the major block explorers and endpoints for light wallets were following this new chain. Perhaps a new fund will fund some development, or perhaps it will all be embezzled by the leading pools and exchanges and their cronies. But regardless of how it turns out, the fund is for all intents and purposes a fait accompli, and regular users have no way to fight back. Right? So this is kind of the the dystopia scenario that we're trying to get away from, right? Basically a scenario where a majority of the mining power or stake power can just like push a change to the protocol, could be creating new coins, could be changing the rules, could be deleting some contract, whatever. And like because regular users are not actually validating the chain, like they just like everyone just accepts their new blockchain by default, right? So this is what we don't want, right? And I think in Ethereum, like we're 100% set in stone that like we do not want a future where that kind of scenario is possible, and so we're like we want to do everything to fight against it, right? So in the with the technology of the 2010s, the only way to fight against this kind of thing is basically for as large as possible a set of users to actually run their own full node directly, right? And but in the 2020s, the game changed in a lot of ways, right? So like basically we actually have a whole bunch of technologies that basically all have this flavor of one actor spends more resources to add some kind of extra information, and in exchange the process of verifying the block for everyone else becomes much easier.